Hi, my name is Joshua Flannery, and I'm the offensive coordinator here at Greenville University. I coach the quarterbacks, but have also coached every offensive skill position in my time of coaching. So today I'm going to share with you something that is essential to the success of our offense, and that is perimeter blocking. First thing that we like to start off with our guys is just kind of set a tone for the culture and the mentality that we want in regards to perimeter blocking. I want our skills to love an opportunity to block a defender. And so we know they love catching the ball and running routes, but we want them to equally love blocking. And so there's three things that we say, hey, this is what you need to be a great physical blocker on the perimeter. And the first one, if you look here, is relentless effort. We say, hey, you know what? It doesn't take a great athlete to block. It really is a choice. And so if you've got relentless effort, then you've got a chance to be successful. And so within that, we've got to be relentless in our toughness. And so just having this mindset that we love moving a defender from point A to point B against his will, and just enjoy doing that. And we have a little theme. We say, if you don't block, you don't get the rock. So it's just kind of a mentality within that culture. And then we just want to be relentless in our execution. And so we break down our blocking into phases. There's 5 phases that we teach on a daily basis. Sometimes those phases are separate. Sometimes we encompass them all together, but we just want to be relentless in our execution of the technique and fundamentals of our blocking. So those would be the culture standpoint. The 2 points of emphasis that we're going to cover today really is how we number defenders on the perimeter, which allows us to then come up with the scheme, our base scheme, and then if there's weekly tweaks that we need to have based on the defense that we're seeing, how we're going to set up those blocking schemes. So yeah, we'll go over the numbering of the defenders and just go through a few blocking schemes. So we use a counting system. We count the defenders, and so as you see here, each defender has a corresponding number depending on where he is aligned on the field. So if we go down here, we'll go to the context, and I'll kind of just jump back from context to picture and work in that way. So cornerback, the corner is always aligned on the number 1 receiver. Alignment may be head up, inside, or outside shade depending on the coverage. And so we always number the corner number 1. So we start outside and we work our way in. And so as you see here in the picture, we have a too high look. The corner is in an inside shade. Regardless of what his alignment is, he is number 1 as we work outside and in. The safety is a 3rd level defender, and his alignment may be deep, it may be middle of the field, it might be 1 high, it might be 2 high. Regardless of where he's at, we're gonna number the safety always number 4. So the corner is always number 1. The safety is always number 4. So 2 and 3 can kind of change just depending on if there's an overhang. We call it a 9 technique or not. For us, the 9 technique is a 2nd level defender outside of the box. Usually an outside linebacker or a safety that is dropped down pre-snap. And his alignment can be apex. It can be inside or outside shade of the number 2 receiver. Again, that just kind of depends on the defense that we're facing, and he's going to be labeled number 2. He's a first defender inside the corner, and he's 2nd level, so he's labeled number 2. And then lastly, a split or stack linebacker is going to be labeled number 3 in our blocking scheme. So 2nd level defender inside the box. Alignment is over the guard if split, or over the tackle if it's a stack look. And so that's kind of how we number the defenders in terms of our perimeter: 1, 2, 3, and 4. Sometimes there's just 1, 3, and 4. Sometimes it just depends on what the defense has given us. So here's how we explain the blocking scheme to our receivers. We try to make it as simple as possible so that there's least amount of misassignments in practice and obviously come game day. But the first number in the blocking scheme tells the number 1 wide receiver who he is blocking. The second number in the blocking scheme tells the number 2 wide receiver who he's blocking. So, for example, if we have 14 as our blocking scheme, and we'll always give our directions, so it might be 14 right, it might be 14 left. The first number corresponds with the outside receiver who he's blocking. The second number corresponds with the slot receiver or tight end with who he's blocking. And so if it's 14, the outside guy has the corner because he's always number 1. And then whether it's a slot or a tight end, he's the second guy in that scheme, and so 4 is always a safety, and so that's how they know who they're blocking. As I pull up this next slide here, I just have some examples for you. That way you have an idea of what that looks like. If you look at the top left picture here, this is our 14 blocking scheme. And so the first wide receiver blocks the corner because his number is 1, and that represents who he's blocking. And the tight end in this look for us is the second guy. So he is corresponding with the second number, which is a 4. So he's responsible for the 4, which is the safety. And again, we'll say 14 right or 14 left. So that way there's no issues as far as communication in terms of who's blocking who on the field. The second picture on the top right is an example of our 41 blocking scheme. It's a push crack technique, and since the first number is 4, that tells the outside receiver, okay, now I'm responsible for the safety. The safety is listed as number 4, so I'm going to work my push crack technique to the safety. And then the number 2 in this example here is the Y. The second number is 1, and so we know that the corner is always number 1, and so he's going to work this arc technique to the corner. And so that would be 41. Bottom left picture here is 12, and as you can tell here, it's 12 left. And so now what we have is the first number tells the outside receiver, I've got the corner. And then the second number tells number 2 here that I've got number 2. And so in this look here, we call it a 9 technique. You want to call it outside linebacker semantics, but he's number 2. He's the second defender, second level inside the corner. So it makes it really easy for him to know who to block. We can flip that and go 21. And so now the outside receiver would come down and block this 9 technique because he's number 2 in the block scheme. And then the tight end here would arc and block out to the corner if it were 21. You can see the bottom right here example. This is 13 blocking, so super simple and easy. I'm kind of overemphasizing it here, but that first number tells the outside receiver who he's got, and so he's got number 1, which is always the corner. And then the second number tells our slot who he has, and in this instance here, he's blocking the split linebacker. Could be a stack linebacker if they're a stack defense. So we just got to prep our guys in knowing what to expect that week in terms of our opponent. So that gives you just a little example of how we do perimeter blocking, how we teach it to our guys as far as a mentality, and then a numbering system so that when we get out at practice or in the game day, they know exactly, hey, 14 right, I know who I got. 21 left, I know exactly who I got. So hopefully you were able to pick up a little bit something from that presentation. Thanks.